Hey guys, welcome to Diamond Cast. It's nice to see you again.
Hello.
How has this week been? You just released a new single.
It's tremendously exciting. Surely that needed some rousing cheer. You could probably put one in post. Do it in post. Yeah, super exciting, and it doesn't seem that long since the last one. So it's so great for us to be having this momentum now of single like stuff coming out. It's like a real band. It's cool.
Is it going to be one every other month now? Is this the cadence you're going for?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's what we sort of looked at, was the idea of it being. What are you laughing at?
Well, I don't know. I wasn't doing it. I was just. It's a tease. Like teasing.
Is it, well, I don't know. Maybe. Write in, find out. That would be a cool thing, wouldn't it? Every other month, new single comes out. That seems like a good timeline. If one were to do that.
Yeah, maybe. This isn't good for people on audio because I'm just doing lots of silly faces. So
can we somehow...
for everyone who's listening, the band are just doing silly faces at one another.
Adam does, yeah. So like, you're gonna like drop in like audio descriptions. Adam does wide-eyed, wacky things.
Nice.
Adam, talking of wide-eyed, wacky things over there, is that Dalek?
Yes, I've got after the excitement of my juicer purchase last weekend or last week. Now I've got a full-size Necros Dalek. There you go, from.
So I know is it white and gold? Is that?
Yes, white and gold. So it's an Imperial Dalek from the Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy era of Doctor Who,
which is 80s, 90s.
Damn it! I wish I could get the years. I know it ends in 1989, but yeah. So it's my favourite era of Doctor Who. So I've got a full-size Dalek, which I always wanted.
And how did you get it in the house? Because they can't go upstairs. I mean, that's the whole thing, isn't it?
Wow, hey. Well, it's actually very hard to get upstairs because I live on like the 14th floor, so I had to take the. It's wheels. It comes in three parts. It's fiberglass, so I can fit in it, but it wouldn't fit through my front door. I had to dismantle it to get it in there. But I will possibly be seen at a Comic-Con in London in the future. Exterminated people.
You will be in it.
Yeah.
Well, inside.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's good. It's got lights. I just need to get a little voice modulator, get a ring modulator, so I can do the voice.
Is it a voice modulator so you can actually say exterminate and it changes it? Is that what you're going to do, or are you going to have like a speaker where you just play exterminate from the actual Dalek sound?
Okay, so there's a group called Project Dalek, which is the people that make Daleks. And so there's plans on how to make it talk. You get a little speaker and mount it inside with a microphone, and then you get a ring modulator, and you can set it up to make the sound. And it comes out you can't see. I think the little mesh bit there, you can have the sound coming out of there so you can make it sound.
Well, so you use the ring modulator. If you use the noise suppression, does it just create awkward silences?
No, then he just like stares at you. Menacing.
Yeah, just awkward British silences. I could use on my Dalek could have a noise suppressor, just to
a fun suppressor. Come on.
A fun suppressor. Yeah, so it doesn't say or do anything. Just sort of awkwardly. Well, yes, absolutely. So I like the idea that
the Dalek's name is Terry, which is a very British name. Named after Terry Nation, the creator of the Daleks. So.
That's so good. Brilliant. So you're going to actually go out to Comic-Con as a Dalek, as that Dalek.
Dude, if there's a way we can get it on stage, then we're fucking golden. That's the ultimate goal, but yeah, Comic-Con.
That would be good. Introducing our fourth member, Terry.
Yeah, with a little keyboard. I can set up a little keyboard in front of him.
Well, if he's got a voice modulator, he's one step there, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you could probably get Yanni in there, couldn't you? That would work.
This is boring.
Very good. Very good. I like it. It reminds me of that episode by Alan Partridge where he's livid at his girlfriend because she's going around with this life-size bear, and he's like, people might think it's me in there, and I've lost it again. Yeah,
I've lost it already. So.
Yeah, but
everyone knows I've lost it.
Pretty hot news, really, isn't it?
Exciting.
That's fun, yeah.
The Dalek has got its copy of Dark Anthems. Do you?
That would wow, segue. Dalek Anthems.
Dalek Anthems.
Yeah. So somehow we got onto that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, it's a week for big changes. I mean, you've got the Dalek, and I'm sure you guys have all noticed my big change, which is
no, we can't tell. No one's noticed Ben's big change.
It could be many things.
Give us a clue.
My big change. My big change. Think about point of view. Think about angles. Think about feng shui. Think about backgrounds. Any ideas?
Ben's looking at the world from a different point of view. Is what he's trying to say.
It's tremendously exciting because
It's the scarf.
It is the scarf, the pointless scarf, as in like.
Doesn't keep you warm.
No, I don't really
thin.
know why I'm wearing this, to be honest. But no, so that's a big change, the scarf. But normally, I'm looking over here, and now I'm looking over here because it's very boring to do my camera. But what's exciting is it means that my hair is now going this way as opposed to this way. As normally that way is that. So yeah, big changes, guys. Big changes. New year, new me.
New angle. Yeah.
Exactly.
I thought you changed because your hair got so weighty on one side you had to flip. Yeah.
Get one big neck muscle on one side and not on the other side.
That's what it is. The sheer weight of it. But I learned something interesting today about hair. Is that Vincent mostly has his hair down rather than up because tying it up all the time. No, Vincent, you tell them.
This is something that I read, that if you tie up your hair too much, it's not good for your scalp. So
what happens to your scalp?
Always have it down, especially if it's too tight, I guess.
I mean,
sure it's not,
any hair tips that you have to give anyone should be taken very seriously.
I mean, look at it. Look at it, shining waves.
You do that thing where you flip, like...
Because I'm worthless.
Yes!
Wow, look at it. It's so good.
Wow. It's so shiny.
What, do you use
Timothée. That's brilliant.
Actually, in this cast, there's a lot of hair going on. That's what I noticed earlier. It's just too much hair.
You can never have too much hair.
Too much.
Exactly.
Too much.
I actually think all of your hair is looking quite on point, and it would be quite a good time to do a new photo shoot. So we should get that one in the diary.
Definitely.
But yeah, definitely. You guys got the hair game going strong at the moment.
Thanks.
All of you.
Let's make sure that happens then. Well, as ever, we managed to get onto our favourite subject, haircuts, within about 7 minutes.
Right, we haven't talked about the 80s yet.
Yeah, the 80s, Metallica, Manic Street Preachers.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Staples, yeah.
So today, in the spirit of Dark Anthems just having come out, which is available on all major streaming platforms, and you can buy it as well, can't you?
Yes. The ultimate salesman over here.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I believe there's a link in our bio where you can to stream or own the track.
And we'll put it below the...
Yeah,
own it.
Yeah, own it, people.
Own it.
But yeah, so super exciting. As I said, like second single that's come out in 2 months, and I like that it's quite different. I mean, I listened to the two of them back to back last night, and it's got so many similarities in terms of the sort of the aesthetic and the vibe, but it's very, very different track and very different feel to it than anything else that we've done. And in fact, I think it was commented, possibly by us, to quote us, that it was the heaviest track that we've done yet.
Yeah. Is it the heaviest track? You said this a couple of weeks ago, didn't you, on the podcast? Which you think you said it's the heaviest track you've written or released so far?
I think so. What would you agree with that, Adam?
I think it's like the riff is pretty heavy. I mean, yeah, it's got a dun vibe. It's got
what makes a track heavy? What makes a track heavy musically, technically?
What do you think, Vinny? Because you've done a lot of heavy music performed and listened to. What do you think quantifies heaviness in music?
I was just thinking about this though, because it's definitely the guitar. That I don't know what you call that in guitar world.
Well, you could call it chugs. You could call it, I think, gent music because it's junts, isn't it? But it's got that sort of riff on the verses that goes, and I'll perform it for you vocally. Which is what's that? Is that Austin Powers? It's Austin Powers, isn't it? That's awesome. But yeah, it's always the same rhythm as that. So so you've got that incessant mechanical kind of riff with just one note playing. And what we've done with that is rather than play it as a chord, it's played as a single string. And sometimes with an open single string can sound heavier than a muted chug. Which is two strings. So it's something about that one string with distortion, incessant mechanical sound is quite heavy. And also I think that lead riff is quite heavy because it's got that sort of Eastern flavour to it, hasn't it? Which makes it quite angular and quite engaging. In fact, the riff that it opens up with, that used to just only happen once in the middle. But when Yanni heard the song, he said, that's amazing. You have to use that more than once in the song. And it ended up opening the song itself, being the beginning of the song. You know, the do, now, 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 that bit.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really good opener.
Yeah, I think it definitely starts with the guitar, and then the bass guitar follows what the guitar is doing. Because there's a lot of heavy songs with high-pitched voice and screaming as well, you know. But I think, for me personally, it starts with the guitar, like the guitar technique or the way guitarist plays the guitar.
It's often about the synergy between the instruments. So if you've got the kick drum and the bass guitar and the rhythm guitar all following a similar kind of pattern, it creates this sort of heavy, I guess, melding of everything's going ja-ja-ja-ja. Because on those, Vinny, you're just doing duh, ka, duh, ka, yeah. Whereas I think if you had have done da 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 da, how do you think that would have felt if you played the kick drum following exactly those notes? How do you think that would have felt? And do you think that would have been heavier, or would it have been too over kind of complicated? Or
in a way, I'm actually doing the same thing in Ghost in the Glass. Yeah, you know the verse. So to cut. So I was kind of, in a way, the kick drum is following the guitar. So I think it really depends on the song. But I think either way it works, whether it's or, you know, kick drum, syncopated kick drum patterns that goes with the guitar and bass.
That's cool.
It's just the feel of it. So you just know it's a heavy song.
So it's not like a large amount of bass or drums working together in a kind of more, I guess I can't like a hardcore way compared to like a lighter way.
I think the bass makes it full, you know, and otherwise I feel like it sounds a little bit thin without that heavy bass.
Is it a particular key that makes something heavy? No, you can be heavy in any key.
I think so. I mean, sometimes the lower you tune your guitar, the heavier it sounds, but I don't always necessarily think that's true. I think it's about how locked in the instruments are. Like if you listen to something like True, there's your Metallica. Dun, 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 jigga, 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 jigga. That's only in E flat, I think. It's not tuned all the way down to like B or whatever. And it's just about instruments locked together, playing something with gravitas and energy. I think that's where heaviness comes from. It's not even necessarily about how distorted your guitars are. Sometimes if it's too distorted, you actually lose the clarity of the notes. So when you start playing, when you're a kid, you're like, oh, turn everything up to 10 and make it as distorted as possible. But then you realise that if you do that, you actually have, you compromise the clarity of the ja-ja, ja-ja, ja-ja. That's where the noise suppressor comes in. I want to mention it every episode now. And so actually dialing the gain back on the guitars can lead to things being heavier. If you listen to a lot of AC/DC stuff, they've barely got any distortion on the guitars, but some of the riffs are just so heavy and so persuasive and swaggering and cool. So yeah, I think having an understanding about how the clarity of the notes and the synergy of the instruments together create the heaviness, rather than it being really low and really distorted. Otherwise, you just get a lot of noise. The lower you go, sometimes the frequencies just sort of distort, and you sort of can't get that clarity to things.
Oh, you mentioned AC/DC, Ben. This Angus actually uses a guitar pedal. He just plugs it straight. Yeah, I mean, I heard someone say he just plugs and play. I don't know if he's got a guitar pedal or I don't know.
He must have some very subtle reverb on his lead stuff, maybe on his lead playing. But I think everything else, it sounds very much like it just goes straight in.
Even the drums is like super simple.
Yeah. In fact, I think with AC/DC, there's only about 2 songs ever out of their 500 songs where they ever use the ride cymbal as part of the beat. It's like nearly always, well, it's pretty much always the hats. And you really notice it if randomly it goes to the ride. You're like, what's happening? And I don't know why that decision was made. Why was it, we're never going to use the ride cymbal?
Well, because every one of their songs sounds the same, that's why.
Well, we can contest that, which I will. But then you think they'd want to use the ride cymbal to try and break it up a bit. They've definitely got a brand identity, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are the experts now. You've self-proclaimed yourself as the experts in Dark Anthems, okay, because you've got a song about it, and the song is about the Dark Anthems that you like, right? So you are now the experts. So can you tell us what makes a song a true Dark Anthem?
So a Dark Anthem is something that really has to sort of hit on a personal topic and a personal level that really resonates with a lot of people, and it's not surface level. So taking it apart, so Dark comes from the subject matter, and then Anthem obviously comes from the way it's embraced by the masses. So it can't just, like, you can't, it's a dark song on its own, it's not a dark anthem, so it has to have a level of adoption by, you know, the public as well for it to be an anthemic. You know, for us it means normally like a rock song or a goth song or a heavy song, but it can be sort of any genre, I think, that has some sort of emotional depth to it. So like, I'm going to be a bit like, I'm going to try and take an example of a song that I could think would be a dark anthem that's not necessarily like, right? So I was thinking about songs that aren't just rock songs that could be dark anthems. So I was thinking like Every Breath You Take by the Police, right? So that is perceived as a love song, really, but it's actually about a very dark subject matter. If you know what it's about like sort of obsession and control and, like, you know, surveillance and stuff. And people take it as a love song, but it's actually a dark anthem in a way that's, you know, known publicly, and it's also about dark social life. So I think a dark anthem, in my understanding, would be something that has, you know, a deep subject matter, but also wide range of appeal and wide range of adoption and affects people. That's what I think. I think,
yeah. And I like that you've taken it to different genres. I said it's not genre specific. Yeah, it's more about feeling specific and emotion. The dark bit,
because dark is not really a genre, so that's what I was trying to think. Yeah.
Similarly, in my notes, I said it's emotional, isn't it? It's something that is that creates an emotional connection, and I think the anthemic element of it is to do with the sort of feeling of catharsis and power. That when you listen to something that gives you that emotional release, it feels. You feel like you're energized in some way. You know, you feel you want to put that song on, you want to listen to it, you want it to help you through something, or you just want to, you're like, oh, I'm going to just go out walking and I've got this song on and I feel empowered, but even though I'm going through a difficult time, this song is making me feel strong. I think that's what the idea of the Dark Anthem is.
Actually, I might revise it. I guess it could be a personal anthem as well as a, you know, one that's widely adopted. So yeah, I guess it could be
exactly. And it's personal. The personal. So it's cheering yourself on. It's sort of being your own cheerleader by listening to the music that empowers you and gives you that cathartic experience. So I think that's very much in terms of where I've thought of these songs, and what these songs have done for us is that they've given us that empowerment and inspiration to not just get on through life, but also for us to create music too.
We're talking about heavy music, we're talking about dark music, we're talking about anthems. So why is it that heavy music, dark music tends to sort of help people through dark times or through tough times. And how do dark songs lift us up rather than bring us down?
I think it lets you express something, doesn't it? You know, the band Tears for Fears, their whole band name is catharsis. It's about crying about something that concerns you in a way to process it. That's what the band name means. I don't know where they got it from, but that's like conceptually what it means. And I think that's very much when you have music that is dark and emotional, that catharsis that you feel, that comfort that you feel when you listen to that band or that album that helps you through difficult times. When you listen to it, it's a sort of ambivalence in the sense of you do feel sad because it kind of re-engages that feeling of sadness, but you feel powerful because you feel like you're going through that with somebody, or someone else is expressing something that resonates with you. And I guess the songs that have really helped us have been the ones where we've listened to it and gone, oh my God, that's so what I'm feeling at the moment. And you feel like you've made a connection with somebody else through the music, or with just that feeling. I think that's the empowerment of it, that you feel that it's expressing something, and then you can sing along with it, or you can write your own stuff, or you can play along with it, and or just listen to it, and it makes you feel a sense of connection.
There's definitely that in the alternative, like fan communities, I think.
Although different ways you can. There's definitely ways you can adopt these sort of songs to help yourself. It's either like lyrically helping you through a dark place, or like maybe it's just you want to, fucking sing in your own bedroom and scream, or you want to go to a gig and like have a mosh pit and like get the connection with other people. It's very much an emotional connection in different ways. And I think especially with rock music and the dark vibe we got, it's sort of something that sort of follows you throughout your life as well, and it sticks with you. It sort of becomes the ether you live in.
It's like, not just a phase, Mum.
It's not just a phase. No, it isn't. And if it's something hits you at the right point in the right point of time as well, it means like so much to you. And I think that's what the Dark Anthems we mentioned in the song especially are. They're not just songs that mean a lot to us specifically, but they'll also hit the right point in our lives and stuff. So
that's actually a really, really good point. That when I think of certain songs titles, or I think, oh wow, that reminds me of when I was going through that. That's because that was me going through that, and I have very vivid imageries connected with just the song title, whether that be standing at a rainy bus stop in Bristol or whatever it is. I think, oh my God, that song is that.
It's time travel.
It is time travel.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's weird how you are the only person in the entire world that's got your chronological playlist of a collection of music that goes through your life that is specific to your experiences? Yeah,
that is intriguing, isn't it?
Nobody else in the world has that.
Yeah. And that's why it's so intriguing when often you'll find stuff in people's collection and it's quite innocuous. Like, you listened to that, but that's when it's just, it was right at that time, and it found you at that time.
Yeah. I've been keeping the same playlist since 1997 almost, and put all the songs that mean something to me during a period of change or excitement or happiness or whatever. So I've got this playlist now that spans all this time of my life, like it's a whole human life, right? And I was listening to it the other day, and it's because I wanted to time travel and I wanted to experience all these banging songs that just made me feel really happy all the time. And I was like, no one else gets to experience this, only me. And even if I showed this playlist to someone, they'd be like, yeah, right. But that experience that I get is unique to me and to each one of you. When you experience a playlist, if you listen to every single one of those pieces of music together in order that you heard them when you throughout your life.
Yeah, it's very autobiographical, and only a very uniquely autobiographical. So that's Nat's playlist. That's your chronology in songs.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
This is the perfect example of how important music is, because people have different ways of dealing with their emotions. When they're angry, maybe they go to the gym, do yoga, do meditation. But for a lot of people, including myself, I listen to music. I listen to heavy metal music. If I'm angry or frustrated, I listen to, fucking Metallica or Pantera. It just makes me feel better. And I'm sure a lot of people do as well. it's like you guys said, like an emotional connection. When you listen to heavy metal, it kind of talks to your experience and just makes you emotionally feel better.
Thing is, you do it to help, right? You don't put you're not like in a good mood and I'm going to put something horrible on to piss me off. You do it so if you're angry, you listen to something to sort of help with that anger, feel it or calm it down or whatever. So it's always a positive influence normally, I would say, rather than hey, I'm having a good day, I want to piss myself off. It's
a process, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does angry music piss you off though?
Actually, sometimes
things I haven't chosen to put on piss me off. But if I was going to pick something,
if you chose it, if you're listening to angry or heavy music, would that make you feel like? Well,
no, because I'd chosen it, so I'd want to go in the right direction.
Yeah. Putting on music that pisses me off, like the Bloodhound Gang, is something.
I put that on to piss you off.
I sang that at karaoke the other night. I thought of you.
It's a feel-good music for everyone.
It makes you feel
what
good.
Pisses you off makes us happy, and you being pissed off makes us happier.
Exactly. So,
but see, because we played that because we were all in a good mood, and I feel like, okay, let's play something. Oh, that's great song. Yeah, let's do it.
Fun suppressor.
I didn't know it can piss you off. I honestly didn't know that.
No, but now I do. I like it more.
Now it's better.
Okay, so
you listen to music to piss other people off? Yes.
But seriously, I mean, I'm sure there was always a time in someone when they were growing up. It's like I love this music and I'm going to put it on because it's subversive in some way. It's subversive to whatever people are around me or whatever, because this is me, this is my music, this is my clan, my tribe of people, and I don't care if it pisses you off, mum, or whatever. I mean, obviously,
we've all definitely done that and turned it up.
I see. I'm the opposite. So that's why I ended up DJing for so many years in London, because I really like putting things on that I know other people are like, and I'm really good at reading what people are like in a crowd, and I enjoy orchestrating and directing if people having a good time and a good experience. So,
and you do that.
I'm the opposite of putting things on to piss people off. Really,
amazingly, there have been some very odd and subversive DJs a couple of times over the years that I've worked with, just as one-off nights, and they've been like, "Oh, look at this! This will piss everyone off. Watch me clear the floor with this." I'm like, "What are you doing?
You won't get paid again. Watch me clear my own career."
It's very odd, but I think that sometimes there is an elitism that comes with music that I think it's manifested itself in that scenario. I mean, this is only once or twice this ever happened, but most of the DJs I've worked with have been brilliant and just really knew how to read the room, and that's
how we met.
Yeah, that's how we met. And that's sort of the talent of it, is that what the fuck do I play next? I've got 37 seconds to think of something based on what's happening in the room now. How when you would DJ, Adam, when you DJ, how much do you plan in advance and how much do you go on what's actually happening in the room?
Oh, I don't plan at all in advance. I've amassed a sort of catalogue over years of doing it, and I could sort of know which ones go well after each other. I just really read the room. I mean, I don't really plan anything. I've got an internal when you do a choice diagram thing and it's got all these different branches. Yeah. That's my sort of way of DJing. Oh, if this goes down well, go down this way, and that kind of thing.
So what what songs do you put on specifically when you need to go to take a toilet break?
Oh, well, if I'm in the toilet, then I put Run to the Hill songs. It's 8 minutes long, so I can get the toilet back. That's what I made us made for, mate.
Yeah, there's definitely...
Or Power of Hell as well.
8-9 minute songs.
Yeah.
That's like 11 minutes, that one.
Yeah, that's what... That's
the toilet's far away in the club.
Yeah, exactly. That's normally for the end of the night.
The idea of putting something on because it brings out an emotion in you, I think it's really important. I think what you said, Vinny, about if you're angry, you listen to aggressive music not to make you more angry, but to sort of process that feeling. It gets sort of as a catharsis. And not too long ago, I was feeling really upset about something, and I put on a couple of songs that I knew would make me cry. because I wanted to process it. I wanted to actually put myself in the position of this song will actually make me weep. And that's good because once you've done that, you sort of feel a bit better afterwards, just like you've processed it. So yeah, I would recommend actually if you're really upset about something, maybe like a relationship or something, and you fucking, if I put that song on, it's really going to upset me. Try it because it might actually be quite a good cathartic process of processing the emotion in a space you've chosen to do it. I'm going to listen to that song and I'm going to cry about this thing. I find that something quite powerful to do.
That's why I like that, like music that makes people emotional is so popular though, isn't it? Because it gives them that space to cry in their own terms when it's not like something else external making you sad, and it's like I can't help being sad. But like if you make yourself like actively face it, then you can kind of go, well, I did it on my own terms. So
yeah, exactly. You've chosen to do it in your like own space and by your own terms, which is really, really powerful.
Go on then. So, are any of you willing to share what your angry or sad songs are?
Well, I've got a couple by The Cure. There's one called... Go on, Han.
No, nothing. I've got The Cure lined up for another question.
This seems to be very, very, very useful in this situation. That's
why they're called The Cure.
Right? There's a couple by them actually. One's called To Wish Impossible Things from the album Wish, and there's another one called Treasure from the album Wild Mood Swings. I just put them on and just like I can't even listen to them on a normal day because it would just make me cry. I'm like, I'm doing stuff today. I'm busy. I've got to crack on with life. I can't just start weeping. But then it's a guarantee that if I put that song on, it will make me upset, but kind of in a cathartic good way.
Well, I think it's really interesting about doing this podcast together is I think me and Ben are like on the opposite ends of the spectrum on how to do things. So like if I'm upset about something, I will listen to the opposite. I'll listen to something super happy to try and hack myself. So I listen to like the fucking Lighthouse Family if I'm upset.
Yeah,
exactly. I will like hack my brain into cheering myself up. I'll do the opposite. I'll do the opposite take.
I think both make sense because there's that whole like if you act happy after a while you will become happy theory that if you just like go about your everyday being upbeat and being like smiling and being positive, then eventually you will start to feel like that.
Or if there's a song that upsets me, then I will listen to it deliberately as exposure therapy until so it doesn't get to me anymore.
That's an interesting.
We've got different ways of dealing with things.
Yeah, definitely.
Vincent, what about you?
Do you any songs that if you hear it, like
drums?
When listening to you guys, that's actually what I kind of meant earlier about how people have their own ways of dealing with stuff, whether it be going to the gym or meditating. But you two, that's another one. That's a good one because
we're on another.
I think I'm probably more similar to Ben, where if I'm angry or frustrated or whatever, I'll listen to heavy metal music, just calms me down. And if I'm happy, I'll listen to Bloodhound Gang or some shit like that. But yeah, I think just generally...
It's like a circle diagram.
Yeah,
Ben cries.
Ben
gets angry because of the Bloodhound Gang.
I don't get angry. I get angry for the wrong reasons. Vinny, is there a song that if you heard it, it might make you sort of feel... upset, maybe just for nostalgic reasons, like it reminds you of a long time ago and you just feel like nostalgic sad? Is there anything like that, any music or any bands like that?
I think there's probably a few, like maybe soundtracks of a film, when it's really sad, like maybe I don't know if you probably saw The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Some of the soundtracks there are really cool. The Gladiator as well, it just makes me a little bit emotional, not to the point I cry, but it just. I mean, but just emotional songs.
Well, Vinny's tough, isn't he? So
Vinny's tough
enough. Tough enough.
Anytime you want to feel tough. I've got a song that can always cheers me up and makes me feel great because it's awesome, and it's called "Dark Anthems" by Diamond Black.
Whoa! Look at that, straight back in.
And you should listen to that too; it'll make you feel good.
No matter what type of Dark Anthem you like, there's everything in there for you.
That's true. Yeah, it's a song for all
Emotions.
Song
for all emotions.
You could say for the Asians, but I couldn't think of what to say.
Song for the emotions.
Not only is it the heaviest song we've ever released, it's the longest song we've ever released. So you get more for your money's worth. I think it's like a good 4 minutes and 28 seconds. Yeah,
more seconds.
It's even longer live. Do an extended version live. So if you want to come to a gig and get even more money, that's money's worth. There you go.
Exactly. You get another like 14 seconds on top of it.
And you can't put a price on that.
This is Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Sunday now, yeah.
This is Sunday.
Well, because it's Sunday is actually my birthday. So all the fans, birthday present to me, download Dark Download Dark Anthems, please.
For Vinny's birthday.
Does that mean we were on tour this time? We were on tour this time last year.
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah.
Guys, it's Vinny's birthday.
Woo!
Wow,
Sunday.
happy birthday, Vinny. On sort of today, but in the future.
So
the fans' birthday present, please go download Dark Anthems. You'll love it.
hang on. You talked about The Cure. You talked about, listening to emotional music and how it brings out or cures anger, sadness, etc. Are you goth?
I feel like I'd be accosted in the corridor at school. Goth? That's what it is. Accosted at school.
Ben, are you goth? Are you gothic, mate?
Wow, what an interesting question. I guess firstly you have to define what does that really mean.
What does it mean to you?
Well, when I was growing up, I always used to think goth was like Cradle of Filth and like black metal and stuff, right? And then I realised it's like actually like Bauhaus and Sisters of Mercy and The Cure and stuff. But then you listen to some of the Cure songs like In Between Days. It's like the happiest music ever. Right? So I know what's considered goth. So I guess if people ask Diamond Black goth, then I just have to say yes, because it could be whatever you want it to be. Yes, we're goth.
I guess is it an aesthetic? Is it a look more than necessarily a sound? I think it's
like
probably...
Bauhaus is just post-punk as well. So it's like. We're going to get the comments going on this one.
If it's a music genre or music style, or is it a person who's interested in that music style? Because then, Adam, your parents would definitely be goth because they're into all those bands, but they don't.
Yes, I would say yes.
Goth.
We are goth, but we're not exclusively goth. We're not only goth. We're a melting pot.
Yeah, and a number of the bands referenced in Dark Anthems are not goth bands. They are they're rock bands, they are metal bands, they are industrial bands, they're punk bands. The darkness that I think that we've drawn from those bands is that the emotion of what they wrote about was so authentic that it inspired and empowered us and connected with us. So that was that sort of darkness of it, rather than necessarily being a whole litany of goth bands. But I mean, if you say that we are, I mean, I think we have some of the aesthetic in the way that we in our appearance of some goth aesthetic in our appearance, and some of it in the music in terms of maybe some of the kind of the keyboard layers and maybe some of the sort of the themes of the songs. But it's like goth's such an odd concept because sometimes. Sometimes it's almost portrayed as almost cartoonesque, like pumpkins and bats and witches, which something like Depeche Mode is definitely not pumpkins, bats and witches, but they're still often referred to as a gothic band.
I would say, like, if I was to go back to DJing, sorry to interrupt, if I was DJing a goth club, I could play Diamond Black, so therefore I think we qualify.
But could you?
That's a good way to look at it.
But could you play every song by Diamond Black, or only select ones? Would you be drawn towards?
I would play some of the upcoming album, which has got a bit more of a dance floor vibe. So I could think of some more gothic.
Would you play
tracks.
Dark Anthems?
Depends if I want. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. It depends on the vibe.
Well, you can play Dark Anthems too if you're DJing clubs as of today.
You wouldn't specifically go. Yes, I would. Bloody right, I would.
Although you could say that Through the Misery is probably more gothic than Dark Anthems because it's got that almost like
got the
clean guitar,
and it's got
Killing
more of
Joke, Tom's kind of that sort of Tomsy vibe in the verses.
Yeah.
Kind of like curiness on the choruses, whereas Dark Anthems is a bit more our kind of hard rock, almost metal roots.
So basically, whatever club you're DJing at, put Diamond Black on. You'll be fine.
There you go. That's your answer. But
when Ben and I went on tour with Killing Joke, that's when I realized I didn't have any clear idea of what Goth was, because at that time I thought, Goth would be this band, that band, and then I realized, okay, well, Killing Joke is actually a Goth band, right?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say that.
And then every single night I would listen to their songs. I was thinking, maybe I was wrong. Okay, if this is Goth, then what about those bands? So like you guys said, maybe it's really broad. Goth is just, it can be anything.
I think a band like Killing Joke probably wouldn't refer to themselves as Goth. They'd probably refer to themselves as post-punk or...
are they?
Yeah, I think so.
There's crossover, right? So I guess...
because I always see them as I saw them as a Goth band, especially because of the singer.
They're post-punk.
With his facial aesthetic makeup and stuff. Yeah,
I can understand that.
Goth's what you feel inside, man.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's more of an attitude and a sort of way of life than a sound or an aesthetic. But I do feel that if I see anyone in the world who is some sort of Gothic aesthetic, they've sort of used some sort of Gothic aesthetic. I feel like, there's a connection there. I feel connected to that person in some way because they are part of that oeuvre. And I think maybe it's more to do with that, of whether it be someone's haircut or their eye makeup or the jacket. If it's got dark or alternative vibe to it, I feel like, that's one of my people.
You do feel that, don't you? You could be in a room full of strangers and you see one person in a slightly with studs in their jacket, and you're like, haha, friend.
Yeah.
Like when we were growing up, and everyone, all the normal people would be like, "Oh, you goth," or just shout goth at all the alternative people. You'd be like, "No, I'm not a goth. I'm whatever." We can't even define what it is now. So we don't know. We know as much as they do.
Yeah. I think it's just anything aesthetically that leans towards those sort of alternative, or specifically, I guess with Goth, it's to do with the darker elements and maybe, I mean, you could say it's about using iconography of death within your persona, like coffins and skulls and stuff.
That's punk as well.
That's punk and it's metal as well, isn't it? The skull
it bled into punk, I think, didn't it?
The skull is one of the most sort of used iconic alternative symbols, isn't it? And it's I guess if we really get into the psychology of it, it's interesting because it's like, why is it so cool to be obsessed with death and stuff? And I guess it comes back to the idea of Day of the Dead, and this idea of accepting death and using it as a powerful force to recognize your immortality and move onwards and stuff. But it'd be intriguing to do a deep dive at some point. Why is it that alternative culture is so obsessed with icons and symbols that denote death?
I've got a little take on why we might not be goth, because none of our songs are about or mention death.
That's true.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Which is a bit unusual for goth man. There you go. So there you go. Whatever you think.
That's a really good thing to think
about. Can it be
actually
considered goth if it's not aesthetically goth?
That's a good point. Maybe it could only be.
You can't be like a.
I only ask because James Hetfield, he's a heavy metal guy, but you see him around wearing shorts and t-shirt and with a shopping bag. But he's the metal of all metal.
How dare he?
He's the metal. He's right up there when it comes to metal. So he's wearing shorts and not aesthetically metal, but he's.
Do they have skulls on them?
He's not goth.
Probably not. They look like beach shorts.
But yeah, so basically, you're
but he's a metal.
Are you saying that he's now so metal that he doesn't have to wear anything that makes him look metal?
Because
it's past the test.
Every week.
So inherently metal that he doesn't need to prove it by wearing.
Maybe he's so metal that it's like, yeah, exactly. Doesn't need to prove it. I'm just so metal. Yeah. I fucking reject your metal clothes. Your fashion.
How much do you have to prove yourself as someone who's into metal? Or maybe he's so sick of metal that he's like, no, I'm just wearing normal clothes.
That's it.
He certainly, back in the 80s, I'm sure he sort of wrote the book on metal paraphernalia, and he's got that very iconic look, hasn't he, of the black jeans, the black t-shirt, the black wristbands, simplicity, like just this is the Hetfield look that is it's very simple and very iconic.
That's not goth, right? We've gone into metal now, so that's the point. We can't really define what it is. So
should you wear your metal or goth clothes to the supermarket, even if you're just on a day off or whatever, or should you always live and breathe it, or should you kind of be allowed a couple of days off? Where you could just wear board shorts.
2 days a week.
There's no rules.
2 days.
Yeah, there's no rules.
Vincent, will we ever catch you walking around town and bump into you in Sainsbury's, like not wearing a leather jacket?
Yeah, in the summer.
In summer. Well, yeah, but I mean, okay, fine. But I mean, like wearing I guess not black.
No, probably not.
The thing about like alternative clothes is that they're usually not particularly comfortable in terms of.
This cardigan's well nice. What are you on about?
Smashing cardigan you have on. So certainly, like examples. If I am going to go to the post office and it's cold and it's raining, I'm going to wear my big coat. I'm not going to wear my leather jacket because I'll get really cold.
Coat, right? Do you have a black one?
You have a parka, don't you?
It's a long dark green, which is still quite cool. It's still dark. It's not like it's bright orange or anything. But it's like a normal coat. And so the choice is
no skulls.
No, exactly. And the choice is I want to go to the post office to be comfortable and warm on the way there with loads of pockets for practical use, rather than I'm going to wear my leather jacket. Why?
It's not goth, man.
It's not
goth, man.
Yeah,
it's
so
life,
I've let you down.
There's no post office. No, I can't turn this off.
Adam in the post office queue, just like the same as he is on stage, poncho and all.
I hope so.
Okay. Are we doing?
Meanwhile, the people in the post office podcast are like talking about the Diamond Black going in the post office, like, and there's like, "Do you see Ben? He's wearing a parka."
Yeah, exactly.
It's outrageous. I don't believe in him anymore.
Get a badge that says "Ask me about Diamond Black" on it. That's what I'm going to do. Right.
Great. It's circle back again. I like it. Always on brand, Adam. I like it.
Thanks.
So someone's got to keep us tethered to what are we actually here talking about.
Thanks.
We're coming to the end of the show. Just one last thing before we go. Well, two last things. First of all, happy birthday, Vincent.
Woo!
Please like, subscribe, and download the song or buy it to say happy birthday.
Yes.
That'll be the best present you can give.
25th birthday, yeah?
Yeah, 25. Finally.
Yay.
Finally.
Been waiting for so long. Cool. And and then what's everyone listening to this week?
Dark Anthems!
That's it. That's going to be the only answer. That's going to be the only answer. Yeah, Dark Anthems. And you should listen to it too. And share it with your friends. All right.
Everyone's got to share it with at least 4 friends, like a chain letter from the 90s, all right? Go.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Except nothing bad will happen to you. Only good things.
Well, only if you don't, Sarah, share it then.
Mate, no, we don't want to threaten people.
I didn't make the rules. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Take care. I'll see you next week.
Good night, guys. Thank you. Bye.